Hillary, Hillary, Hillary. You don't want to know what happens when you say that in the bathroom with the lights off. But anyway, in this video, we are going to be talking about the latest development of Hillary Rodham Clinton being asked, how did she kill Jeffrey Epstein? Which is pretty interesting to say the least, and I have some interesting perspective to add to this entire... I just have to say kerfuffle. Is that actually... It actually is a word. Okay, to this entire kerfuffle with a lot of correlating events surrounding this one. Now, before we start, I sincerely wanted to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for going on wearechange.org/donate and supporting us in many ways, including with cryptocurrencies, which of course we were very early adopters with when it came to supporting and funding this independent media operation. If it really wasn't for the crypto space, this independent media organization wouldn't exist, so we want to extend everyone supporting us through cryptocurrencies. Now, at first, when you read the headlines going all around social media that Trevor Noah stood up to Hillary Clinton and asked her directly how she took out Jeffrey Epstein, you have to understand that the headline paints a totally different picture to the actual reality of what happened during this interaction between this paid employee of Viacom, who, along with all the other late show TV hosts, almost saying the same identical opinion on many important political issues, and the political swap monsters interaction is absolutely contrary to what many people think the interaction actually was. Now, I was actually able to watch the full entire clip, which we cannot play because of copyright issues. Now, very interestingly, the TV segment starts exactly with Trevor Noah asking Hillary Clinton directly how she killed Jeffrey Epstein. This, of course, prompts Hillary Clinton to laugh, I would have to say very insincerely. I slowed it down here in slow motion on YouTube, but this definitely doesn't look like a genuine laugh, to say the least. And of course, that is just my observation and opinion on that matter. But in this specific instance, it just really looks like she's trying extra hard and definitely wasn't caught off by any surprise here, again, in my opinion. But then the important aspect that a lot of people are missing here, since they're not really seeing the whole clip here, is that Trevor Noah goes on about how Hillary Clinton, who supposedly has no power and is not president, is seen as some kind of boogeyman for the right, and ultimately leads it to a bigger question. Chelsea actually looks like one of the gargoyles I discovered on Epstein's Island. But anyway, Noah goes on for a very long time talking about how Hillary is responsible for all evils, of course being facetious, and of course playing into the notion that everyone questioning her and seeing her as a bad person is somehow crazy. That's the bigger notion. That's the bigger kind of subtle softball question that Trevor Noah, who really should be on MSNBC instead of the Comedy Central, is asking Hillary Clinton. And again, this is really laughable, especially when you consider Hillary Clinton that had the media literally on strings as puppets for her. When you look at the characterization of Hillary Clinton, especially by the mainstream media, they were gloating, lovely, amazing pieces. There were journalists running after her car, fighting for access to her that was given particularly if they suckled, if they brown-nosed, if they kissed the right buttocks. That's how the games works. And people admittedly in Washington, D.C. were stooges and tools for Hillary Clinton for access to her. And they were predominantly overall in the mainstream media very favorable of Hillary Clinton. So this question, just on its face value, is absolutely absurd. And it starts off with the preface that's getting everyone's attention. But really, the subtleness here is very exact, especially when you look at the duplicitous nature on how the mainstream media treats Donald Trump and how they treat Hillary Clinton. And then he doubles down, how does it feel being the boogeyman of the right? Again, another subtle notion that's just incomplete. It's not just people on the right that see Hillary Clinton as the boogeyman. It's Bernie Sanders supporters. It's Tulsi Gabbard supporters. It's Elizabeth Warren supporters on some level, not all of it. Not as strong as, of course, Bernie supporters that were screwed over, especially the Bernie delegates that were screwed over in, of course, a primary that was rigged by Hillary Clinton, by, of course, W. Wasserman Schultz, which was a crooked politician that was fired disgracefully from the DNC for rigging the primary, and then was exactly hired by Hillary Clinton right afterwards. Sorry, I'm just going on. There's so many things I could bring up about Hillary Clinton. It's absolutely absurd. But what you're seeing here is a very scripted show meant to get your eyeballs, meant to get your attention, meant to get clicks, meant to also misdirect the communication and important conversations that need to be had here. But Hillary Clinton goes on, talked about the problems of a lot of people sharing information online because, ooh, people are going to speak to each other. What a big threat that is. We should all just have centralized forms of information, just like we had a few years ago when the mainstream media was telling us that there was weapons of mass destruction. Sorry, I'm just absolutely dumbfounded at the idiocy of this idea that somehow centralizing information with the mainstream media, with, of course, big, huge organizations with special interests is somehow better than having an open communication with everyone communicating. I just find that absolutely absurd. But moving forward, and then she gives the scripted lines like she doesn't know why people are upset. And then Chelsea offers her same talking points on how the internet and free speech and free communication is bad because she met some hypothetical person that thought her mom killed some people, which again prompted another kind of really fake awkward laugh by Hillary. And again, people need to understand all of this is scripted. These are actors and actresses. Trevor Noah, Hillary Clinton, Chelsea Clinton, a lot of them, they just get their script from professional PR companies and they're said, read this. Now, Trevor Noah, ask this. This really wasn't an impromptu kind of moment that a lot of people are making it out to be, or some kind of truth moment. It's really all a part of the script. And I know this personally because I remember covering events here in New York City and covering the former Secretary of State's events here in New York City, where she allegedly was doing a public Q&A where people got to write questions on cue cards and give it to her. And I remember filming that event and seeing very just odd, strange, softball questions that Condoleezza Rice was just right on top of it, answered it calmly, clearly, in a very profound way. And I was like, she's not that smart. She can't be that on. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I remember going back the same day after covering her event, and then she was on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, which Trevor Noah took over. And as she's on that show, Jon Stewart is reading the same scripted questions that were allegedly from this public Q&A to Condoleezza Rice, and Condoleezza Rice again just promptly, perfectly answered it. And this is exactly what we are seeing here in my personal opinion from my experiences. Because trust me, if Condoleezza Rice, the former Secretary of State, gets scripted questions, so does one of the hardest people to nail down for an interview, Hillary Rodham Clinton. And trust me, when you confront her like I did, specifically about her supporting the rebels inside of Syria that turned out to be radical Islamists, she just freaks out and calls her security on you, which she did in this particular video when we confronted her one-on-one, face-to-face. Totally, of course, trying to ignore the questions, running away, oblivious to any kind of outside, in the spur, in the moment, real question that is not scripted and fake. And people need to understand that there's major PR companies that script a lot of these things for the perfect manipulation. And I believe that's exactly what we're seeing here. And I believe Hillary has hired a new PR company to most likely play up a bigger role in the next upcoming election. And it's not only me believing that, it's a lot of people close to her, including Bill Clinton, that even just recently said she may or may not run. And then, of course, she continued on the Trevor Noah Show talking about impeachment, the same talking points that all the other mainline establishment talking heads were talking about. Not surprisingly, this whole article and this whole notion highlighting that, it was covered by CNN, that, of course, was recently exposed as pushing and shilling for this whole impeachment agenda, which CNN employees get orders from top down to push, irregardless of the truth or not. And again, whether it's to sell Chelsea's book and to prop up Chelsea, or to promote and Hillary in a possible run, that is still not clear from the outcome of all of this. But surely this was a very effective way to get everyone to start paying attention to Hillary, who, as we've been noting in our video, is becoming less and less politically relevant, specifically, evidently, from the latest spat that she had with Tulsi Gabbard, which we talked about at great lengths in this particular video. Now, of course, with all of this, we also have pushback from the establishment right, as Republican senators are demanding all of the emails that transpired between Clinton and Obama, but they actually won't show anything, since Clinton, of course, used emails that prevented any accountability and transparency of what she was really up to. And again, these career politicians, the Clintons, that sold this country to the highest bidder and made hundreds of millions of dollars that we at least know of. For Trevor Noah to play off these people as some kind of innocent, stay-at-home, powerless, somehow relatable when they're more reptilian, how much more of a shell could Trevor Noah really be? With, again, clear violations, clear illegal activities happening with Hillary Rodham Clinton. While, of course, the people who spoke the truth about her, exposed the truth about her, are literally rotting in jail, being tortured with solitary confinement, to the point where many independent experts even claim that Julian Assange of WikiLeaks is even at the risk of death because of the treatment he is getting in jail, which again, he shouldn't be in. Many people forget Julian Assange, the man who released a lot of information that the government did not like, is sitting in jail for a sentence that he already finished. This is a true injustice that is happening in this world. And if this puppet on this major network actually cared about doing the right thing, he would, of course, point out the fact that many of Clinton's enemies are in very, very, very horrible situations, or worse. But no, he played off that fact, and played off the fact that she's completely innocent, which all of us know that she is not. And because of her, whistleblowers, truth tellers, are in danger. So yeah. Also, if you want to see the video of me confronting her, I'll put the link in the description below so you can watch that particular video. But when you're consuming entertainment, especially from mainline television programs, you need to understand you're consuming closely scripted, PR-approved propaganda, which is perfectly exemplified by this latest interaction between Trevor Noah and Hillary Clinton, who again may run to be president in 2020. And you know what would be really interesting, newsworthy, and an actual form of journalism, or even high-level entertainment to watch? And a conversation with Hillary Clinton about Seth Rich. That I would really want to watch, but something, of course, that we will never get on this mainline disinformation, psychological warfare, propaganda industry that, of course, is mainstream media. But that's why you're watching independent media that is getting screwed over on YouTube in favor of the mainstream media and Trevor Noah and all the other late-night show hosts that I keep clicking on YouTube that I'm not interested in seeing, but YouTube still somehow freaking bombs my feed and shows me. I'm absolutely... But if you correlate with what we're reporting on and the bigger things that are changing in our society, you could actually understand why that's happening. So yeah, that is my take on it. What do you think? What did you think that I might have missed in this broadcast? Do you think I'm wrong in any way? I'd love to hear your feedback and your constructive criticisms down below, because only with open, proper communication could we really get to the truth. Thank you so much for being a part of independent media. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org. Love ya.